So one of the things that I really love about pork carnitas is that you can do so much with the recipe. It's basically a piece of meat that you season up however you want, and based on those seasonings, it's going to taste a little bit different depending on what you do. So there's a lot that you can do with this. You'll see that I add a lot of spicing to mine, and that's just how I like it. And that varies depending on what I have in the house on that day that I'm making it. But I'm going to show you the base recipe for it and then show you what I do to kind of jazz that up. But you can take this in so many different directions. If you want it to be a little bit sweet, add some brown sugar to it. If you want it to have a little bit of a different flavor, try adding orange juice to it. Today I'm going to be using water and vinegar. You want something with some kind of acidity in there to help combat the fattiness of it. Even though I said you want the fattiness of it, the acidity is going to make that really tasty. So if you don't want to use vinegar, you can use like lemon juice, or like I said, you can use orange juice or lime juice. So there's so many different things that you can do with this, and basically it's the same basic method that you would use to make pulled pork, but of course pulled pork you're gonna season up differently because you're gonna be using that with barbecue sauce. So back to the recipe. Okay, so what I have here is a pork shoulder roast. This is the best way, the best cut of meat to make your carnitas. And this is about 4 to 5 pounds of this. This is just going to go straight into my crock pot. Now, you see how it's got this fat on top? That's what we'd call the fat cap. If you're very sensitive to fatty meats, you can certainly trim some of this off, but you do want to leave some of it there because the fattiness really helps with your flavor and just makes it good and helps it to pull apart easily. Now that we've got our pork in there, I'm going to be adding half of a chopped yellow onion. I just like to get that extra flavor in there, and this is gonna break down by the time it's done cooking and just get mixed in with the meat, and it's really, really delicious. Do you want at least a cup of liquid in here? You can add more than that, but I find that if you add more, it starts to get a little too liquidy. So I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup of water and then a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Find that if I use more than a 1/4 cup, it gets to be a little bit too pungent, but you definitely want something acidic in there. First off, I'm gonna throw 2 bay leaves in here. Just wanna make sure you take those back out after it's done cooking before you shred this. And then I'm gonna add some salt. You definitely wanna do a good amount of salt, at least a teaspoon's worth, because this is going to turn into quite a lot of meat. And we also want to do about the same of some black pepper in here. And if that's where you want to leave it, that's fine. This is your basic recipe. You're going to put this on low and cook it for at least 8 hours, and that's going to be delicious as is. If, however, you want to add a little more seasoning to it, like I'm going to do today, I love using cumin in any type of Hispanic food. So I'm probably using, I'll be honest, that was probably 2 teaspoons. Also smoked paprika, really, really good. Do about 2 teaspoons of that. Some garlic powder in here. You know, I'm always using garlic powder and onion powder in just about everything I do. So we're gonna add those in. I am also going to add in some Sazon seasoning. I've mentioned this before. I should probably do a video just directly on this. You'll find it in your Hispanic aisle or multicultural aisle. It's just a really good like seasoning mix basically that Hispanics use all the time. So my family is Hispanic and we grew up using this, so it's just integral now in my cooking. I'm also going to do some dark chili powder, not a whole lot of that because I don't want it to have too much heat, but some. And then I'm going to basically just go ahead and let this cook on slow for 8 hours. I'll come and check it every once in a while, see if it needs turned around. Okay guys, so this is my pork that was cooked for probably about 8 or 9 hours. It's really tender because when I went to pick this up, it just started falling apart. So just 2 forks, you know, and just go in here and kind of pull everything apart. Now I'm going to add in just a couple things to give it a little bit of brightness. It's really nice and savory and rich right now, but we want to brighten that flavor up a little bit. So I'm going to add in the zest of 2 limes, the juice of 2 limes, and a handful of chopped cilantro. I'm just going to mix that in. And that is our pork carnitas. It's going to be really tasty. We'll be able to make several meals out of this. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a like below. Bye-bye.